So good morning, Redondo Beach, and good morning to everyone here in our studio audience, and good morning to all the people online in the television land on their laptops, and welcome to the people who watch this in the future on YouTube. I appreciate it all very much. It's really my pleasure to be here. So a Sunday school teacher was getting ready to dismiss her class to go back to the main congregation to be with their parents. And she asked the students, the children, she said, "Why is it important to be quiet in church?" Little Johnny's hand went up and he said, "Because people are sleeping." So I want to talk this morning about moving from fear to faith. And in The Art of Life by Ernest Holmes, the beginning of chapter 3, Ernest asks a question. He says, life is going on, but are we making the most of this thing called life? And then he goes on to describe a situation. Can we imagine a fish being told it is surrounded by water, but not quite realizing what it means? We imagine such a fish swimming north, south, east, west in search of water. If we think of this fish as a person, we can imagine this fish looking through the books of fish lore, reading up on fish psychology and philosophy, and endeavoring to discover just where the waters of life are and how to approach them. This makes me think of when I'm late and I can't find my keys. And I'm looking everywhere for my keys, and I go over the desk where I put my stuff, and I go through all my pants pockets and my suit pockets, and I go out and I look at the car, which is locked, of course, and I'm happy it's still there. And, eventually I find the keys, and they're right there in front of me the whole time. I'm looking and looking, and I just can't see it. So I know other people can identify with that, so we can identify with and understand what Ernest Holmes is trying to tell us. And in my own story, I have looked for different spiritual leaders, different teachings, and I am grateful for all of them. I love and respect all of them. I've even grown and learned things in all of them. But the truth is, for me, there was a part of me that was looking outside of myself for something, like I got the right guru, or that special thing was going to happen, the magic wand, and then I would have it, the enlightenment or something. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking other paths. Seeking is a very, very good thing. We need to do it. We need to find that place that resonates with us. So for me, and I hope with you, it's religious science, for the teachings of science of mind. The other things, when I'm looking outside of myself, I miss the point. And then when things fall short, I get upset and I don't understand why. And when we take responsibility for our own meditation, our own spiritual path, our own study, then we own it. It's ours, and it's something that we can incorporate fully into our lives. But if you're like me, the growing pains, it's not always so easy. There's times when I still want to blame other people. There's times when I want to get mad at God and say, why is it like this? And, life's not fair. But we have to grow up. Blaming other people never gets us anywhere. And we already know this, but we still want to do it, right? So if you look at the world is a mess. It doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on, politically or whatever. If you look at what's going on, it's a mess out there. There's too many topics to even cover right now that it's a mess. So I didn't know it was going to rain the other day. And my daughter tells me on Saturday, she says, "Dad, we got to stay inside. Hurricane's coming. Everything's going to flood. It's going to be really dangerous." And I said, "Well, that's interesting. Who told you that?" And we went to the store, and people are emptying the shelves, and I thought, we went by Lowe's, and they're loading the sandbags, and I thought, oh my God, are we going to run out of toilet paper again? We know what this is like, and we should prepare. If you live in a fire zone, you need to prepare for flooding. I'll come help if you need that. But Saturday night, for the hurricanes coming Sunday, it's So I got more emergency texts on Saturday and Sunday than I have in the last 5 years. And then the earthquake hit, right? And right in the middle of it, the text is going off. So I had a great time with all that, And but the truth is that these situations come up in our life, and there's fear. You can't be human and not have fear. It's a normal part of life. I want to go back to the other thing. They closed the school on Sunday or Monday. Sunday, I was a little upset. I had this appointment at this historical society place, and it was a county deal, and so it was closed. And I was like, and I'm driving away, and the streets are flooded. It's up to my tires, and I went, oh, maybe I got this wrong. But Monday was the most beautiful day that we've had in a long time, and the schools were closed. We get hung up in this stuff, and we overreact so much today. But the truth is that there are things in life that we should be afraid of. There are times when we have to deal with things, and life is not always great. So hopefully, because it's human, we are human, we let our intelligence guide us, and we do the best we can, right? But how do we really move from fear to faith? A lot of people say, oh, I don't have that kind of faith you talk about. Oh, you believe in God more than I do, whatever it is. And I think about this all the time now because I've moved to Oregon, and I still drive to LA quite a lot. And cars are dangerous. People get killed. Sometimes people make mistakes, and they go over that center line, and there's head-on collisions. And, they tell us that it's safer to fly than it is to drive, right? We buy insurance, we put our seatbelts on. But if you have ever driven on the road at night on a 2-lane highway, then you have faith. Because as you're going along and you can't see the line quite right, and the other car's coming at you with the brights on, you got to keep going. You have to have faith that it's going to work out. The other driver is going to do what they're supposed to do and stay on their side, and you're going to stay on your side. And for those couple moments, there's a few times at night on the highway you go, right? Well, real faith and God is the same thing. God is doing what God is supposed to do all the time. So we have a part in it too. We get a choice. We get to take responsibility of how we respond to situations. God is not punishing. It's just a silly notion. God and the universe say yes, yes, yes all the time. But thank God that every thought, every prayer isn't answered. What a mess it would be. The trick is that we have to have a certain amount of consciousness to carry the thoughts and the prayers into being. We have to make an effort with it. And you say you want to go on vacation, God says yes. So you got to have the money. You got to get the airplane tickets. You got to plan where you're going to go. And people say, well, can't I just create the money? Yes, of course you can. But you've got to have the consciousness to do that. It's not just going to fall off the back of the delivery truck. How's that really going to work out? It's just, it's not going to happen. They're going to come ask for it back, right? And God is good. God is love. So when we align with that, we're not wishing and hoping that the money's going to fall off the back of the truck. We're putting our energy into a good thing and expecting a certain result. So back to simpler things than all good and evil and all this. Fear to faith. Let's say I'm in a situation and I start to see I'm going for the negative. It's a bad day, right? I get a choice. I can start to say to myself, God is the love that I am. Nobody has to know this. I don't have to share it with anyone. Inside myself, I can say, God is the love that I am. God's love flows through me. Some good will come of this situation, and my attitude changes, and then the change starts to happen in the world. Perhaps you're working on a health body issue. So hopefully you're seeing a practitioner, changed your eating, you're meditating and you're praying, you're visualizing your healing, you're writing affirmations. You know, there's a lot of things you can do, and it's going to take effort. You go to the doctor, and the doctor says, and I've had this happen so many times, the doctor says, well, you really can't change this. This is how it is. You're going to have to accept it. You can either quit right there. You can try to argue with the doctor. None of those things are going to get you anywhere. I've learned from the wonderful Louise Hay, one of her affirmations is all you need to do inside yourself is say, maybe for you, but not for me. Maybe for you, but not for me. It's so simple, but we're using that energy to not get caught into, it's a hurricane, we all got to duck and cover. You know, we're ready to build the ark. So, you know, if things look like they're getting worse, start to use yours. Then go out to your car, say a prayer. Call your practitioner and make another practitioner appointment. Get some help, right? So I was lucky in my early work with a practitioner. My practitioner gives me homework. She gives me prayers to say. And the beautiful gift that I got from her is sometimes if I'm in a situation that is too much for me, I'm too close to it, she'll say, you're too close to this. Just let it go. Forget about it. I will do the work. In mine, it's this one mind. So I'm going to get into that. When I first came to religious science, I had just gotten a divorce. Work was not going well. I was back in therapy, and I just felt like I had missed something. You know, it's happening to me again. And I had done a lot of work on myself. I had done a lot of therapy. My childhood was not good. I strongly suggest anyone who has an interest or calling, go to that workshop. Get in touch with your own childhood. What can it do but only heal you? How we respond to others and teens, it's important. It's how we respond to ourselves also. And I had done a lot of work, but it wasn't going good. Again, I just felt like everything was outside of myself. So I came to church, and I just fell in love right away with the whole thing. And the best part, see, I knew prayer worked. I knew how to pray, and I knew prayer worked. But I didn't know about affirmative prayer. And they had practitioners who were willing to pray for you after church for anything you wanted. I was like, I've died and gone to heaven. This is what I've wanted my whole life, to have a team of people to pray for me. This is great. So I did that. I came home to homes. So it just came to me last night when I was writing this talk. I came home to homes, and I don't know if people have used that before, but I've just fallen in love with that now. So let's go back to Ernest Holmes, because Ernest Holmes, he wanted people to know what we believe, what we think here, and he wrote What We Believe. It's in the Science of Mind magazine. It's online. You can find it. It's easy to find. I think there's copies of it here printed up. I've seen before. Maybe not, but it's online. So we believe, I'm going to use two of them, not all of them, two. We believe the ultimate goal of life, a complete freedom from all discord of every kind, every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. So when I got here, I had discord, and I wanted freedom from it, and I believed it could happen, and I was willing to do the work, whatever it took. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. You can hang your hat on that statement. You can put your faith in that statement. I will guarantee that that statement is the truth. Complete freedom from every discord. It's possible. How does this happen? It doesn't happen because I say so. It doesn't happen because we prayed with a practitioner. It's true. It's available to you because, remember our little fish? Okay. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. The creative mind receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. It sounds good to me. Then I realized there was a little hitch to all of this. I got to put the effort into it. I got to take the responsibility. I need to start to shift my thinking. So it seems very difficult, but it's simple and we hear it when we come. Change your thinking, change your life. But nobody's going to do it for you. So the things that we get, the tools, practitioners and prayer, and the things that I've talked about, coming and being of service. Like Reverend Catherine said, these things we do, taking the classes, going to the workshop, we don't directly see how it relates, but in the metaphysical, it's the unseen side of life that's coming forth through us. And all the work, all the effort we put in has to come forth. It has to be rewarded. So let's pray. Knowing that right here, right now, that the power and the presence of God is with us. That this power and presence, this goodness of Godness, is the very thing that is life itself. It's my life, it's your life, and it's so, so, so very good. So we just reflect on that truth. We stand in that truth. And we allow Spirit to work with us. We let God do God's part, and we do what we can from where we're at. And we let that grow, we acknowledge that, and we build on it. We expect that change to come. We know this truth for ourselves. We know it for all beings everywhere. So we just allow it, we let it be, and so it is. Thank you for letting me be here this morning. We need to keep the church going, and we are going to have some collective giving, some tithing to support Redondo Beach. So we're coming forth with that, and we have our giving prayer. If you will join me in that. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, to prosper. All those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I realize my gift, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. So when we're going to pass this basket, we'll all get that, and it is time. If there are any questions, I would love to discuss this with you. If you have a prayer concern, I know some people have some prayer concerns and things they're working on. This is a great time to bring that forth, and we can talk about it and pray for what needs to be prayed for. Thank you.
Okay, I guess none today. You got it easy.
Not today. They're stunned by my talk. So, some things were brought to my attention that there are people who suffered from this rain. They got over a foot of rain in San Bernardino. You know, life does happen. There are consequences to things. There's the fires in Maui. like I said, it's not hard to look around the world and see that things are a mess. So we're going to include that in our prayers. I know somebody must be having some health concerns and they don't want to bring it up in public, which I understand. So we will include that. Nobody wants to add? We will go into prayer. So, knowing that this power and presence of God, this divine life that is my life, it's the life of everyone here in the sanctuary, everyone who's watching this on the internet, all the people who are not even participating in this service, that this divine life, it manifests. That goodness comes from in a multitude of ways. And we know that each and every person has the opportunity right here and now to open to that goodness, to open to Spirit and allow Spirit to fill the voids that life creates, the things that we believe in that are not true. And so we hold our bodies in that any physical healing that we need, if it's known to us or not, it's coming forth. God is doing God's part. The body heals itself. We allow that. We support that. We stand in that truth. We know that all the people in need of food, clothing, housing, work, that these opportunities come forth to them, that they have the ability to recognize the opportunity and move with faith in that direction, that we all have this opportunity to move from fear to faith. It is the participation in life that we build on and continue to go forward. I know that the people in flood zones, in fire zones, in devastation like Maui and so many other places, the war in the Ukraine, there's just, the list is too long, unfortunately, from Humanville. But we know that God is present. If we see that or not, we know that God is present and that the spiraling upward of Spirit is happening in all things, in all situations. So we just breathe that in and we know that truth. We know it for ourselves. We know it for all beings everywhere. And we just say thank you to Spirit. Thank you for this truth. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the knowingness that we have received so far. We are just so grateful for this life and for the truth of Spirit. And I just so lovingly and gratefully release this prayer to the very face of God to be reflected back to us in every way, shape, and form. And so it is. And together we say, and so it is, amen. Thank you.